Gen Z is rewriting work rules, leaving boomers baffled. They're not lazy, they're quiet quitting. This means doing exactly what they were hired for, nothing more. Gen Z draws a firm line at their job descriptions, rejecting unpaid overtime and uncompensated emotional labor. This trend, popularized on TikTok in 2022, reflects a broader rejection of burnout and dissatisfaction. It's about the 5 p.m. logout, while older generations disapprove. This divide isn't just about work habits, it's a cultural battle reshaping our relationship with work. It's not just about being difficult, it's about economics, psychology, and societal values. Gen Z seeks balance and fulfillment, challenging traditional norms. The quiet quitting movement didn't appear overnight. It's been brewing for years. The concept gained global attention during the pandemic, as remote work gave people a taste of life beyond office walls, prompting them to question the sacrifices made for their jobs. Inspired by movements like China's Tang Ping, lying flat, Gen Z watched millennials burn out chasing promotions, only to face layoffs and stagnant pay, and collectively decided to avoid that future. Economic realities further fueled this stance, with wages failing to keep pace with soaring living costs, while companies continued mass layoffs. Gallup's 2023 report revealed 59% of workers globally are quiet quitters, prioritizing work-life balance over career ambition. This isn't a passing trend, it's a generational shift rejecting hustle culture and demanding fair treatment. The boomer response to quiet quitting has been swift and predictable. Back in my day, we worked hard and didn't complain. This reaction reflects the post-war prosperity that shaped their work ethic, when pensions, job security, and loyalty were rewarded. However, boomers often overlook how drastically the economic landscape has shifted. Gen Z faces stagnant wages, skyrocketing living costs, and job insecurity, making home ownership a distant dream. According to a 2025 survey, 30% of workers now consciously quiet quit, with 57% reporting improved work-life balance. For Gen Z, it's not laziness, but a rational response to a broken system. Unlike boomers, who built identities around career achievements, Gen Z prioritizes meaning and boundaries over titles. This disconnect fuels misunderstandings about what quiet quitting truly represents, a demand for fairness and balance. Behind the quiet quitting movement lies a psychological shift reshaping workplace norms. Gen Z is rejecting the always-on culture that blurred professional and personal boundaries, instead prioritizing mental health and well-being. Raised in an era of therapy apps, TikTok self-care trends, and open conversations about psychological wellness, they recognize that sacrificing mental health for work isn't worth it. Quiet quitting reflects their desire for meaningful work that aligns with values, not just paychecks. Gallup's 2023 report shows 59% of workers globally are disengaged, highlighting burnout and dissatisfaction as key drivers. Psychologists note this boundary setting improves long-term productivity by preventing burnout and fostering sustainable engagement. Far from laziness, quiet quitting signals a shift toward healthier workplace dynamics that benefit both employees and employers. Corporate America's response to quiet quitting remains out of touch. Instead of addressing core issues like fair pay and manageable workloads, companies still rely on ineffective morale boosters like pizza parties or mandatory fun Zoom calls, which often frustrate employees further. This disconnect highlights their attachment to hustle culture, while Gen Z demands fairness and humanity in the workplace. As Gallup's research shows, disengaged employees cost $7.8 trillion globally in lost productivity, making this approach unsustainable. However, some companies are adapting. For instance, a tech startup implemented a 4-day work week and mental health days, reducing turnover and boosting employee satisfaction without sacrificing productivity. These examples prove that addressing real concerns, not presumed laziness, creates a win-win situation. Companies ignoring these lessons risk losing talent in an increasingly worker-driven market. Quiet quitting reflects a profound cultural shift reshaping our relationship with work. Gen Z isn't rejecting work itself. They're rejecting exploitation disguised as dedication. They prioritize fair treatment, mental health, and boundaries over hustle culture. Inspired by movements like acting your wage on TikTok, quiet quitting challenges toxic workplace norms and demands flexibility, fair pay, and respect. The ripple effects are forcing even traditional companies to rethink productivity. Protest signs at workplace demonstrations. "We're not family, we're employees," capture Gen Z's frustration with emotional manipulation and unbalanced expectations. This movement signals the end of hustle culture and the rise of workplaces where life and work coexist harmoniously, reshaping the future of employment for generations. Bridging the generational divide in today's workplace requires mutual understanding and adaptation. For Gen Z, the challenge lies in advocating for their needs without alienating management. They prefer concise, informal communication, often via text or instant messaging, but also value face-to-face interactions for meaningful discussions. Openly sharing their boundaries while fostering collaboration can help avoid conflict. Meanwhile, boomers must adapt by listening with curiosity and acknowledging the economic and cultural shifts shaping younger workers' priorities. Effective mentorship, rather than lecturing, is key, offering guidance while respecting that success today looks different than in their era. Employers play a critical role by embracing flexibility, fair pay, and mental health support, practices that resonate with Gen Z's values. Companies that adopt inclusive communication styles and prioritize employee well-being will thrive in this evolving workplace landscape. Quiet quitting isn't laziness. It's a demand for dignity in the workplace and a bold statement about what matters in life. Gen Z didn't create the broken systems they inherited, but they're challenging them with resilience and clarity. This movement gained traction during the pandemic when remote work exposed the flaws of hustle culture. Gen Z prioritizes work-life balance, mental health, and fair compensation over empty promises of advancement. According to Gallup, 59% of workers globally are disengaged, highlighting systemic dissatisfaction. Quiet quitting isn't just clocking out at 5, it's rejecting exploitation and redefining productivity as purposeful work. Whether you're quietly quitting or cheering from the sidelines, this revolution is reshaping the future of work, where ambition coexists with well-being. Subscribe for practical strategies on setting boundaries without sacrificing your career.